This past weekend was Easter, and I was at an Easter egg hunt that basically the church put on back home. And while most of the families looked of European descent, there were some families there that were Mexican and spoke mainly Spanish. And I noticed them, and we had some extra candy that there was no way our kids could eat. So I took it over to them and gave them some, and they were nice. As I was walking away from that interaction, I thought, they look really Asian. I knew they were Mexican, but they just had Asian features. If anything, it reminded me of when I taught in Thailand for those 2 summers, and how the people in Thailand, they looked like they were darker skinned Asian people compared to what I was used to seeing. Like if you're Chinese, compared to a Thai people, in my mind, are darker complected. And this was only reinforced in the 2 summers of being over there, because the commercials that I would see would be these women putting on this lotion and powders and stuff to get their skin to look lighter, because they wanted to look more like the people in Western culture. Meanwhile, ironically, so many women here getting tanning beds, to look darker. So it's like, is anybody happy with their skin color? I don't care what skin color I have, but I'm feeling okay with my skin. I don't need to get darker or lighter. I'm good. But anyway, the point being, as I looked at that Mexican family, I thought, if anything, I can see some like Thai features in it. I see Asian qualities, Asian features in this Mexican family, which reinforced what we already know about my grandma. She had to have been something like 80% Central American descent, as in Native American via Mexico, because my DNA test shows 21.6% of Central American DNA, which so people have argued with me a lot on this channel about certain things, but no one's ever argued the fact that the people who settled in America, the Native Americans, whether it was North America, Central America, South America, that they came over from Asia thousands of years ago. They crossed through the Bering Strait, Alaska, came through. They came from Asian origins. And it's interesting because certain Mexican people, I can see it more. And even yesterday, or a couple days ago, we were also at a Mexican restaurant. And at that Mexican restaurant, I thought, okay, well, these guys working here, I see more European features than them. And it's interesting because my grandmother, her family was from southern Mexico, where I could understand that they would have more of that indigenous, and did I say that right? More of the native DNA compared to, and I get it, Mexico is a huge country, and you can be all kinds of things and still be Mexican. You could be Jewish, you could be Scottish, you could be whatever. But as far as my exposure to a lifetime of me meeting people who are Mexican or Mexican descent, I guess because I'm aware of the Native American DNA being descended from Asians, that I can see it that. So have you ever noticed that when you're around Mexican people that you can actually see Asian qualities in them? I mean, in theory, maybe you could even see it in me. Maybe you could even think, wow, I've never noticed, Nick, but yeah, the shape of your eyes is kind of, I could see how you could have roots going back to ancient Asia. And that's my point. My point is that I see Asian features in Mexican people. And I know, Mexico is a nation. It's not an ethnicity. I know that. But I think you can appreciate what I'm trying to say here is, when you see someone who's of Mexican descent, specifically having predominantly the Native American DNA via Mexico mixed with the European DNA, you can sort of separate that and look at them and think, I can see the Asian in them. That's the point I'm trying to make. Is there anyone who can agree with me on this without turning this into, a snowball fight about deflections about what I'm trying to say? All I'm wanting to say is this. A lot of times with Mexican people, I can see the Asian DNA in there. Can anyone agree with that simple concept? That's how I feel, and I feel that I've never heard anyone have this conversation before. That often you can see Asian traits in Mexican people. Can anyone agree at all? Or am I alone?